When a great-grandmother named Doris died due to complications from advanced Alzheimer's disease, to honor her memory, her family donated her body to science, with the belief that her body would be used to aid in Alzheimer's research in hopes to find a cure for this horrible disease. So you can imagine their horror when they discovered that her body was actually instead being used to test explosives.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to the apocalypse. For tonight's episode of My Day is Ruined,
my disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
We are going to be visiting the story of Doris Stafer.
Courtesy of CBSAustin.com, an Arizona man is upset having learned his mother's body was sold to the U.S. military for blast testing. He's just one of many families who gave the bodies of their loved ones to a biological resource center, with their understanding their loved ones' bodies would be used for scientific purposes. To Jim's horror, instead of them using his mother's body for Alzheimer's research, they brokered her body to the U.S. military for research that had required Jim to sign an authorization form. But when Jim signed the forms, he checked the box that prohibits military traffic safety and other non-medical experiments to be performed on his mother's body. So this isn't just a story of a woman's body being used to test explosives without her family's knowledge. This is a story of her body being used to test explosives with her family's explicit refusal.
And notice the terminology they use here: military, traffic, safety, and other non-medical experiments. Even if you consent to testing, nowhere in the terminology does it insinuate that they're actually going to use your loved one's body for testing explosives. This in itself is horrifying.
Her name was Doris Stafer, said her son. There are dozens of families who still don't know what happened to the bodies of their loved ones they donated to the Biological Resource Center. Jim Stafer does, and he almost wishes he didn't. He donated his mother's body in 2013 after she battled Alzheimer's. He trusted the BRC to get her brain to neurologists who could learn more about this disease. But instead, his mom's body was sold to the U.S. military to test explosives. She was then supposedly strapped in a chair of some sort of apparatus, and a detonation took place underneath her to basically kind of get an idea of what the human body goes through when a vehicle is hit by an IED. Jim says, "Every time I dream about my mom, I told you she was a quiet person. This person in my dream is angry. Today the inside of Stafer's home's unchanged. Memories of Doris and things she loved still on display, including a small box filled with the only 6 ounces of her ashes the son got back. He stole a lot more than my mom's body. Every time there's a memory, every time there's a photograph you look at, there's this ugly thing happen there, staring right back at you," Jim said. "She will never be forgotten here." Stafer is now suing the Biological Resource Center and the owner, Stephen Gore, after the investigation was later charged with running in an illegal enterprise, but shockingly was only sentenced to probation after pleading guilty in a blatant display of rules for thee, but not for me. Just imagine the repercussion if it was you or I that decided to do explosive testing on a human corpse, even with the consent of the family. Mr. Gore wasn't even charged with desecration of a corpse, which is a felony with a penalty up to 7 years in prison. But Mr. Gore seems to have gotten a pass for his disgusting actions. As of today, at least 34 bodies that are known of were shipped to and accepted by the U.S. military without family permission. In 18 instances, consent forms neglected to mention the possibility of explosive testing. And in 12 instances, families checked the box rejecting the violent experiments just as Jim had done. And in 4 more instances, no box allowing or rejecting the testing were checked at all. This serves as a cautionary tale of the blindly placing trust in someone because they are an official, or expecting them to do the right thing. Because by the end of the day, people are people, and some people can be really awful. A woman by the name of Mira Grant once said, "The one thing I have an absolute faith in is mankind's capacity to make things worse. No matter how bad it gets, we're all happy to screw each other over." Hey, if you enjoyed this week's episode, please like and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions or ideas for future videos, please tell us and leave a comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, chemtrails in the sky, UFOs on the horizon. Have a wonderful night.